And we're going to start on page 25 in your grammar books. So go ahead and turn to page 25. 25. Okay. Today we're going to talk about the who, which clause. And the thing I liked about this grammar book is that these little grammar things that we're going to focus on, we are also going to practice using in our writing later. So right now we haven't started this in our writing part of the class yet, but we will. And it's kind of neat that we get to look for it in our grammar book, and then we'll actually practice using it. But a who, which clause, remember, a clause is a group of words. Okay, that's all it is. It means it's not a complete sentence. It's just a group of words, okay? And it has the word either who or which in the clause. And that's what it starts with. So it says a who, which clause is a group of words that describes the noun it follows. So this is a group of words inside a sentence that starts with either who or which. A who, which clause begins with the word who or which, and it is a type of pronoun because it's describing the noun. So we'll talk more about that. But who refers to people, okay? Personified animals, that just means like animals that are acting like people, like the tortoise and the hare. Have you heard that story before about the tortoise and the hare, and they're in a race, and you know that's one of the Aesop's fables. But so the bunny or the tortoise, the rabbit, is running, but he's clever and he talks and he runs on his two back feet, and so he's acting kind of like a person because he's talking and he's in a race. And then the tortoise is the turtle, right? He's moving like a turtle, but he also talks. So we know that animals in real life, they don't talk in English, right? They may have sounds that they use, but they don't really talk. So a personified animal is an animal that's acting like a person in a story. It's just a pretend story, okay? And then pets, we all know about pets, either your dog or your cat or your horse, or, you know, an animal that you have as a pet at home. Then you use which, and that refers to things. And then animals, if they're just being an animal, like if you're talking about an elephant at the zoo, you would use which. Or if you're talking about a bird outside in the sky that's being a bird, right? It's not talking or anything, it's just being a regular old animal. Then you use the word which. And then if you're referring to places, you use the word which. And so it'll make more sense once we practice this a little bit. But it says a who, which clause must be added to a sentence that is already complete. And so here's how they're going to develop this. We're going to read this. This is the first complete sentence. It says the soldiers had traveled far. That's a fine sentence. It's complete. It tells us who, the soldiers, and then what they did, the verb is traveled, right? So the soldiers had traveled far. This next one, they added who, but it's incomplete. So that word fragment means it's not complete, okay? The soldiers who had traveled far. It's not complete. There needs to be more after that. So that's not a good sentence. The next one, the soldiers who had traveled far needed food. Okay, now that makes sense. So you have the soldiers, and then you have the who clause right here, who had traveled far. And then you have the rest of the sentence. Now remember, when you have a who or which, if you take it out, like if I cover it up with my fingers right here, the soldiers needed food, it still makes a sentence without it. So that's one way you know if it's going to work in the sentence. So the soldiers who had traveled far needed food. And then here's another example. They switched these two things. So now the soldier who needed food had traveled far. Okay, and notice the who is talking about the soldiers, which is their people, right? We know that soldiers are people, so that's why we use who. And here too, the soldiers who needed food, they're talking about the soldiers here. So when you go to mark this in your book for grammar this week, you're going to place parentheses. Do you know what those are? Parentheses? Okay, good. And this is what parentheses look like right here. You're going to put parentheses around the who, which clause, and then write W/W above the word who or which. So it looks like this. Here's the example sentence. So this is what it'll look like in your book when you do your homework. The soldiers who had traveled far needed food, and you're going to mark it with parentheses around the who clause.
You see that?
And you're going to put W/W on top of the who or the which. Okay. And then notice that there's commas here too. We have commas around the who clause. The soldiers, comma, who had traveled far, comma, needed food. So that's important to know too. When we get to the point in our writing class, part of the class, where you're writing sentences and you're adding a who or which clause, it's important to remember the commas. That's important. Okay. Place commas around the who, which clause. On the side here in the margin is just some notes for you to look back on. If you get to do your homework in a couple days and you forget what we talked about in class, you can always come back to this page, either read the page or you can look on the notes here. So the who, which clause contains a subject and a verb. And the first word is either who or which, and you mark it with a W/W. And then down here, when you rewrite the passage, copy the commas correctly. So we want to make sure to include the commas. Okay, any questions about the who, which clause? No questions? You can shake your head if you don't have any questions. So I know that you don't, or thumbs down, that's fine. Okay, cool. Let's turn to page 27. This is your practice page. Do I have any volunteers to read the sentence today? Okay, Kylie, go for it. Whoops, you got to unmute.
Start over.
Okay.
The dwarf who bowed and walked away returned for a third time later that night.
Nice. Good job reading. And our word was bowed. I'm glad you didn't say bowed, because sometimes that can be a word too. Yes. And there you go, Kylie. She did a fancy bow. So whenever you go to a play or any kind of a performance on stage, you bend forward at the waist, and that's taking a bow, and you can make it fancy.
That's what I did.
Okay. Just like you did. So go ahead and put a check by vocabulary, because we already figured that word out, bowed. Take a bow. And then our articles, you probably know what to put here now. Go ahead and write that in. It's a, an, the. Don't put and with a D, because that would be wrong. It's an, an. A, an, the. And I bet if I gave you girls just a minute, you could find them and put AR on top of that. So go ahead and do that real quick. There's only two.
There's the other one.
All right. Those are the easiest ones to find, right? Okay. Now we have some nouns. So I'm going to check in with Harmony first. Remember, the nouns are people, places, or things. Okay, think about that when you look for the words. Do you see any words that are either people, places, or things?
Where's the nouns? Where's a person?
Looking for a noun.
Nouns. Which one? 2. We got those. You can check that one off. Check it off. Now tell her what the nouns are.
And
No, what's the word? What word did you check?
dwarf.
Dwarf.
Oh, good. Yes, that is correct. That's a noun. How about Kylie? Can you find another noun?
Bowed.
No, that's actually an action. So that would be a verb.
No, I can't.
That's okay. You want to
Sure.
help Valentina? Go for it.
I'm gonna say who.
It's a good guess, but no, it's not who. That's going to be part of the who which clause, though. But one of the nouns is night.
Okay, I got that one.
Night, that's a noun. And then the other one is a little tricky too. It's time.
But
Okay. And time is a thing. So that would be a noun, especially when you have third time, that tells it that's actually an adjective. So when you have an article and an adjective, the noun comes next. So time is the noun. So we have dwarf, time, and night. Okay. So how about Kylie? Can you find the who, which clause? The who, which
Yes.
clause?
It starts at it's after dwarf, and
Uh-huh.
it's away, like after away.
So read the whole clause.
Who bowed and walked away.
Perfect. Nice. You're right. So we're going to put parentheses around that. And then we're going to label it with a W/W right on top of the who. That's a who which clause. Okay. It's a group of words that start with who or which. Awesome. Okay. And then Harmony, tell us what word do we need to make a capital at the beginning? What word?
No, what word is capital?
Which one do we need to capitalize? I think she said it. Did you say T?
T in the, right?
T and that.
Okay, T and that. Perfect. This first word right here. So we're just going to do 3 little lines there.
Few T's. Look, there's a T.
Good. That's the first word of the sentence, and we always have to capitalize that one. That's correct. And then Valentina, how about our end mark? What do we need at the end of the sentence?
Or comma. No, comma. Oh my god. All right, I keep forgetting the name.
It starts with a P. Here.
Period.
There you go. You got it. I knew it was on the tip of your tongue. I could tell. Okay, when you rewrite this, notice this is a new paragraph here. So when you start, you want to give yourself a space. So start about there. Okay, give yourself a space for the indent. And then go ahead and write the sentence at the bottom. Don't forget the commas. Oops.
Walked away.
It's just the words.
Okay, when you're finished, you can put your grammar aside for a minute. And then I just have to pull up something really quick here. Okay. All right, so go ahead and get out your homework, which would have been the scorpions paragraph that you wrote. Scorpions paragraph. So we've been learning how to make a keyword outline. And then the first thing we did with the keyword outline was we learned how to retell the story verbally with our mouths, right? And then now we learned how to use a keyword outline to write a paragraph. So I see Valentina has hers. Give me a thumbs up if you have your paragraph in front of you. Good, Kylie.
Look,
Good, Harmony. Okay, so I thought it would be kind of fun to hear each other read your paragraph because you're going to notice something. All three of your paragraphs are going to be just a little bit different, but the main idea of the story or the information is going to be the same. The main idea will be the same, but each of you have put it into your own words, right? So I'm going to start with Valentina. Would you please read your paragraphs to us? Just your paragraph.
Scorpions are not insects. They are arachnids.
Arachnids, actually. That's a hard one.
Arachnids.
Arachnids. There you go.
And they have 8 legs, 2 pinchers, and a barbed tail. There are over 2,000 scorpion species. They are found on every continent except Antarctica. All species are venomous, but only 30 can kill humans. When scorpions sting, their prey is paralyzed. They only need a little food to survive, and they often survive in a freezer overnight. They can hatch dozens of babies. In China, they are a delicacy, grilled or fried.
Nice. Good job, Valentina. Let's clap for her. Yay. Good job. I like it. You did a great job taking your keyword outline and writing it out into sentences. So excellent job. How about Kylie? Can we hear your paragraph next?
Scorpions are not insects. They are arachnids, and they have 8 legs, 2 pinchers, and a barbed tail. There are over 2,000 scorpion species. They are found on every continent except Antarctica. All have venom, but only 30 species can kill a human. They mainly use their sting to paralyze their prey. They can survive with little food or water. Remarkably, they can survive in a freezer overnight. When baby scorpions hatch, they climb on their mother's back. In China, giant scorpions are fried or grilled and sold in food shops and eaten as a delicacy.
Nice. Very good, Kylie. Nice job. Okay, Harmony, can you read your paragraph to us?
scorpions are not insects. They are arachnids. Arachnids.
There you go.
They have 8 legs, 2 pincers, and a barbed tail. There are over 2,000 scorpion species. They are found on every continent except Antarctica. All scorpions are venomous, but there are 30 that can kill a human. They sting and paralyze their prey. They need little air or food. They are tough and can survive being put in a freezer overnight. When their eggs hatch, babies climb up and right on their mother's back. In China, scorpions are grilled, sold, and eaten.
Nice job, Harmony. Very good. I love it. So see how you guys all wrote your own version of that. It's a little bit different, but the main things are there. That's because you used your key words to make that. Okay, so remember how we left the title blank and we just had a line there? So I want to show you something, and it's on page, you should have this already out, or at least in the front of your binder. It's this page, it's page 21. I think we took it out of our binder last week, so it should be at the front. See if you can find it. It's yellow and it's page 21. Give me a thumbs up once you find that, so I know you have it. Page 21. I'm hoping it, okay, good. Valentina has it. It should be at the front of your binder. Okay, good. Harmony, I see that. And when I mean like the front, I mean like the very, very front. Did you find it, Kylie? Page 21, it's yellow.
Never mind.
You find it?
Found it. Yeah. I
Okay,
found
good.
it.
So this is just a little chart, basically, that shows you a couple of things that we did. You already know this one. This was the making outlines. It looks a little different than that, but what I want you to focus on, though, right here is writing from notes. And that's what you did with the scorpion story. So you used your outline to turn it into a paragraph. And it does say to indent here, so hopefully you remember to do that. And then I know in class we talked about double spacing, so that says double space right there. But this part right here is what we're going to talk about next. So it says the title repeats 1 to 3 key words from the final sentence. Okay, so you're going to change the title. The original title was Scorpions. So we're going to pick something different. It can still have the word scorpions in the title if you want, but you can completely change your title. And some examples would be like Chinese delicacy. Now, in your last sentence, I know you used the word China, but you could still use the word Chinese in your title because it's the same base word, right? China and Chinese come from the same word. You could say something like that. You could say snack in China, right? You could call your paper something like that, snack in China. So what I want you to do is look at the last sentence of your story, okay? And so Kylie, let me talk to you first. What is the very last sentence that you have in your story?
In China, giant scorpions are fried or grilled and sold in food shops and eaten as a delicacy.
Okay, good. So can you think of a new title, picking 1 to 3 of your key words from your last sentence? Did you? No, you can't think of one? That's a no. Well, I heard the word China and I heard the word delicacy. So you could say something like delicacy in China. That could be your title. Here's another idea, because I think you said giant scorpion too, right? You could say giant scorpion treat. That could be a title. Giant scorpion treat. Do you like that title for your paper? You can pick one that you like. I know. Well, I don't expect you to like scorpions, number one. I understand. I don't like them either. But just for the sake of writing a title, it needs to reflect that last sentence. So, in fact, let's see. Maybe it'd be good to write this down. Let's do this. Go ahead and get a blank piece of paper out. We're going to get a lined piece of paper. I think I better show this to you so it makes sense. And you're going to label it like we always do with your name there and then today's date. Okay, your name first and then the date. And let's call this, we're going to skip a line and let's call this how to make a title. How to make a title. And you know what title means. That just means the name of whatever it is you're writing about. Okay, it could be the title of a report. That's kind of more like what this is. It's like a report, right? It's not a silly story like The Dog in the Shadow. That's a little bit different. That's kind of a fun story, right? This is really a real thing with real information. So it's more of a report type writing. But still, we need to have a good title. Okay. So go ahead and skip a line and let's put title, rule, and then put a colon like that. Title, rule. Hopefully you can see that okay. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. There, that's a little better. Title, rule, how to make a title and the title rule. And then we're going to skip a line again. And you're going to write this rule. The title, whoops, LE, repeats 1, 2, 3. That means 1, 2, or 3. 1 to 3 key words from the final sentence. Okay, and as you're writing that, I just want you to listen as you're writing. If you think about something like a song, okay, I love music. I love to listen to music. And if you've ever noticed, there's usually a pattern to music, whether it has words or no words. Usually it starts with a certain sound. Maybe it's a certain instrument, or maybe it's a certain word that the song starts with, or the sentence that the song starts with, the lyrics. You'll notice if you really pay attention to the details at the end of the song, a lot of times you're going to hear that same note, or you're going to hear that same sound, like whatever instrument it is, whatever they're using to make the sound. And it'll be almost the same note too. And then sometimes if you're listening to the words, they repeat the same words at the end of the song too. It kind of does something to the brain. So it's kind of like you listen to a song and you're really enjoying it. And then you come to that part at the end where it wraps it everything up and that sound comes back and those words come back and you just go, ah, like your brain it feels like it's complete. Does that make sense when you listen to that? And think about that next time you listen to one of your favorite songs. Even if it's true sometimes with stories, it'll kind of come back to that main character and it ends with the main character and you kind of get the feel like it's wrapping up the story. It's kind of resolving it in our heads. Okay. That is what the title rule is trying to do. So it's giving us a little clue about what the reader is going to read about. And it can be creative, okay? It doesn't have to be plain. Like right now, the title is Scorpions. It's kind of a plain title. If you go to the library, and let's say you love horses, okay? Let's just give that as an example. And you want to read about horses, and you see some titles on the books that say different breeds of horses and all that. But if you see one that says the fanciest horse in the whole world, that title would probably catch your eye, right? You might go, wow, I want to know, what is the fanciest horse in the whole world? What can that horse do? How big is it? What color is it? What is its personality? So that might draw you in, right? That's how important titles are, to pick something that is creative and kind of catchy. But the other half of it, the rule here, is that your title needs to repeat 1 to 3 key words from the last sentence. Okay. By the way, repeat. Do you guys know what repeat means? Yeah. Valentina, what does repeat mean?
Like, let's say like somebody said hi, and I'm gonna repeat that. I'm gonna say hi, like you're repeating, you're saying something over.
Good. Saying it again. Very good. So what we're going to do is just practice right here. Just skip a couple lines and draw a line in the middle for a spot for a title. We're just going to leave it blank right now. And then I want you to skip a few lines, like 3 lines. 1, 2, 3, about here. And I'm going to have you just write this sentence, and we're going to pretend like it's your last sentence of the Scorpion story. So let's say something like this. Giant, and maybe this is your last sentence. Giant scorpions are eaten as a, skip a line, delicacy in China. That might be your last sentence, or your sentence might be close to that. We're just going to pretend we're at the end of our writing and this is the last sentence. And now we have this group of words here. And now we got to come up with a good title. And the title rule says it has to repeat. It can repeat only 1 word, right? Or 2 or 3. I think this is where you can get creative. I could pick that word scorpions as the one I repeat, but then I can add a couple of different words like this. I could say, scorpion treats. Scorpion treats. And you can write that down if you want, or if you think of a different one, you can write a different one down. But there's an example. Do you see right here? And I'm going to circle this word scorpions. In my last sentence, I'm going to repeat that in my title, but I don't have the word treats here. That's okay. I just got creative with it. So I'm going to title this one Scorpion Treats, because the rule says I only need to repeat 1 to 3. So 1 or 2 or 3 keywords from the final sentence. Okay, now, do you have any other ideas on how we could title this? Valentina, what do you think?
I put scorpion delicacy.
Perfect. And what you did was pick 2 words to repeat, and that's perfect. That's a great one. Good job. Any other ideas on another title that we could pick? If you like scorpion treats and you can't think of a better one, you can write that. Go ahead and put that on your actual paragraph at the top where you left it blank. You can copy it there. Or if you think of a different one, you can pick a different title for that.
You could put like delicacy in China or China delicacy.
delicacy in China or China delicacy, both of those would work. Or even, like I said earlier, Chinese delicacy, because if you use delicacy, you could say Chinese delicacy, you could say crazy delicacy. You could say bizarre or weird delicacy, something like that. If you use that word delicacy, that still follows the rule because it's 1, 2, or 3. So you can pick just one. Okay, so that's the idea that I want you to know about creating a title is repeating those words. All right. Thumbs up if you're done with this page that we just did together. Good, 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 good. Now, the good news, I have good news and bad news. What do you want first, good news or bad news? Valentina.
Bad news.
Bad news, okay. The bad news is our next story is also gross. Sorry. The good news is we're done with scorpions.
Yay!
How about that? Okay, so now I want you to get out your binders and right here where it says the tab, turn to the tab. Let me show you what it looks like right here. It says finished compositions. That's where we put the dog and the bone, the shadow, and then we put the other story back there. Oh, giant saguaro. You're gonna put scorpions back there now. So go ahead and put everything with scorpions back there. This yellow page we're gonna put in a different spot. So keep that one out for a second. But these pages right here that say scorpions, and then this story, and then your outline, and the paragraph you wrote, you can move all of that now behind finished compositions, behind the dog in the shadow, and the giant saguaro. Do you have any questions about where it's going to go? So keep out the yellow page for a second. And just a friendly reminder, when you open your rings and you put your papers in there, close the rings. Do not close your binder before closing your rings. Trust me, it's not a good day when that happens. So close your rings before you close your binder. And actually, you're not really going to close the binder yet because you're going to move this yellow page to a different spot. And the notes that you just took about how to make a good title, you can keep that at the front of your binder because you'll probably need those notes again when we go on to the next story. So you can keep that one at the very front of your binder, either in the pocket or in the rings at the very, very, very front, okay? Okay. You guys good with those pages? Okay, now there's another tab. If you go back to the beginning here, like the beginning of your binder, this tab right here that says model charts and outlines, do you see that one? You're going to grab that and go behind that one. And that's where you're going to put this yellow page. Page 21 goes behind model charts and outlines. Okay, and stick it back in there. And then close your rings. Thumbs up when you're done with that. Then okay, hold on. I'm missing my, how is it that I keep missing my papers? Hold on a second. Ah, I found it. Next, you're gonna get out the next story, which is gonna be, it should be behind the tab that says source text, that one, that first one. And you're gonna get out a few pages from there. You're gonna get out page 23. '25. Oh, you're gonna go all the way to 29. So 23, 25, 27. And then 29. I got to get mine out too. I'll show you what they look like. 23 all the way to 29. I'm missing page 27. Find that. Okay. I'm having trouble myself here, so let me see.
I have 27, 29, 23, and 25 that you told me to get.
Okay. So yeah, okay, that sounds right. So you should have 4 pages. Here they are. I got mine together now. Here's 23. It says The Bald Man and the Fly. It's the overview page. And then 25 is the story, The Bald Man and the Fly. And then 27 is a yellow page. It looks like this. And it says Stylistic Techniques. Good. And then 29, it says Composition Checklist, The Bald Man and the Fly. Give me a thumbs up if you got those 4 pages out. Yay, we did it. Woohoo! It's so hard on Zoom. I just like cross my fingers and hope everything is going to be okay because I can't see what you're doing there. All right, so let's look at the page 23. I think I told you this before. We don't really use this page, but we want to keep it with the rest of the story. So this one we're not really going to use. But we are going to go on to The Bald Man and the Fly. So it's not as disgusting as the scorpion story that we just talked about. So there you go. That's the good news, actually, after all. So this is an Aesop fable. Remember, we've talked about that when we looked at The Dog in the Shadow. It's a made up fun story about a situation, and it's a story that we can learn a lesson from. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just read the story and you guys can follow along, and then we'll talk about what lesson you can learn from the story. It's called The Bald Man and the Fly, and you can see him down here, and yep, he is bald. He has a little hair in the back, but not much. And I see that fly, and I have had that experience before where the fly like flies around your head and you're like, ah, quit it, get away from me. Okay. On a hot summer day, a tired traveler sat down to rest and took off his hat. A fly began buzzing about his bald head and sweaty face, landing on his skin from time to time. "Get away, fly," he mumbled. He tried to smack the fly, but instead he hit only his own head. When he slapped his skin, it stung, but he slapped again and again, trying to get that pesky insect. But he failed and thus became frustrated and angry. Finally, the man understood his mistake. He thought, we are likely to hurt only ourselves when we get so angry. All right, so kind of a funny story, kind of a story we can learn a lesson from. So let's just pretend for a second that I don't know if you guys have little siblings, but give me a thumbs up if you have a little brother or a little sister at home. Oh, good. Oh, you can all relate then. Okay. Oh, you have 3? 2. Okay. So pretend for a second, and if it's your little brother or little sister, go ahead, Kylie.
I have 2 little brothers.
2 little brothers. You have this favorite thing of yours. Let's say it's maybe you have a favorite drawing book. Maybe you like to draw in your free time and you like to doodle or draw pictures of things. And your little brother or your little sister finds that book and finds a Sharpie and decides they want to draw in your book. Has that ever happened to you before, where they're just like, scribble, 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 scribble all over your book? Okay, Kylie, has that happened to you before?
No, but my little brother Logan, he draws on furniture when he was younger.
Oh, that's even worse
There's-
on furniture.
There's still like permanent marker on like our white furniture.
Oh,
there.
no. Oh, so you might get so mad that you just start kicking stuff, like you kick a book and you kick the wall, and all of a sudden you go, ow, I just hurt my toe kicking the wall. Why did I kick the wall? So really what happens sometimes when we get that mad, and I'm sure we've all been that mad before, we're just like, oh, so mad, that sometimes we can hurt ourselves accidentally when we're so angry. So what was this guy doing? How did he hurt himself? How did the ball make? He smacked himself, Valentina?
When the fly was on his head, he smacked himself, but he was trying to smack the fly, but instead he smacked himself.
And he kept doing it over and over and over and over again. I don't know if you've ever done that before, like if you've had a mosquito or something, you just keep smacking. Then after a while, it's like, it stings, right? When you keep smacking yourself. So that's the lesson he learned is sometimes we hurt ourselves when we get so angry. So that's something we can learn. Okay, Kylie.
I never learned it from like smacking a bee because all I did was run away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to smack a bee because that could actually be a bad thing, right? It could.
Guess what? I once almost sat on a bee and then like it came out from under my butt and like it went on my hand and stung me.
Oh my goodness.
I was like somewhere around 6 or 7. So I got a treat for it.
Oh my goodness. I have stepped on a bee before barefoot and it stung me on the bottom of my foot. That's not fun.
Ow.
But I don't know about sitting on a bee. That would not be good. Valentina.
I have an interesting like interaction with these ones. So the thing is, I was jumping into the pool, and while I was jumping into it, it latched onto my skin and stung me when I went into the water.
Oh
So
my
it's
goodness. Oh, that's not good. That's bad timing, huh? Oh my goodness. All right, we need a new piece of paper. So get out a clean one. I know we're running out of time. We're going to get this set up for you. So go ahead and put your name where it goes. You know that. And then the date again. Today's date's easy to remember, February 14th. And then go ahead and copy for now. We're going to copy the title of this, and it's called The Bald Man and the Fly. By the way, I wanted to show you when you write a title, you only need to capitalize, well, you always capitalize the first word and then only the keywords after that. You don't have to capitalize and or the right here, but you do need a capital T for the, it's the first word, B for bald, M for man, and F for fly. So when you have a title, don't forget that little thing, that rule to capitalize the keywords and the first word. Okay, and then under that, we're going to put key word outline. And you're going to capitalize K for key, W for word, and O for outline, because all of those are keywords, keyword outline. All right, now. This story has 8 sentences, so I want you to skip a line and go ahead and write number 1 to 8. And you guys are getting really good at these outlines. I know we're running out of time, but what you're going to do is make your outline from this story. And then next week, we're going to practice then writing those sentences together. And then we're going to play with those sentences and make them have style. Okay, we're going to work on that next week. So this week, and we can do the first sentence together. The first sentence says, on a hot summer day, a tired traveler sat down to rest and took off his hat. So does anybody want to help us make the outline for just the first sentence? Okay, Kylie, what are some key words? We need 3 key words here.
Summer.
Okay, we'll talk about it first before we write it down. Summer, what else do you think?
Tired.
Okay.
Off. And I was gonna say hat, but
You could draw a hat maybe?
yeah.
Is that what you were thinking? That's a good one. Summer, tired, off hat.
Taking off his hat was a big role in the story because that's where the fly kept landing.
Yes, I agree with that. So let's write down, we know it's summer and we know that summer's hot, right? Usually. And he's tired. I do like that. I wonder if we need to mention, I guess we don't really need to mention he's a traveler. We know we're talking about a man, so it's summer, he's tired, and then I do kind of like that, off, and then a hat. Now, I'm going to draw like a baseball cap because I think that'll be a lot easier to draw maybe.
I drew like this hat.
Oh my goodness, you are an artist, girl. Kylie, that is really good. I would not know how to draw that.
It's really easy.
I'm just happy mine kind of looks like a baseball cap. So you can do a baseball cap or you can do a fancy cap like Kylie did. I wonder what hat it was. Oh, he's holding it in his hand. I see it now. It's kind of like, yeah. Okay. So here's your homework because we're out of time already. That went by so fast. You're going to do your pages in your grammar and you're going to finish this outline. That's all you need to do is just finish this outline. And then in class, we'll start writing out the sentences together in class, okay? So each sentence, you're going to pick the key words and you can use numbers and symbols and abbreviations for free. You don't have to count those, but you can only have 3 words on each line, just like you guys have been doing, okay? All right, any questions about your homework?
No.
No, so you're going to keep all of this about the bald man and the fly at the front of your binder. You can either put it in the pocket if you like doing that, or the rings at the very, very front. Keep these things together that we took out today so that we know where they're at. All righty. Well, have fun making cookies and have fun doing all the, wait, what are you doing again, Valentina? I forgot.
So we went to a bakery and then we like
That's right.
exchanged Valentine's gifts. So yeah.
Oh, you pretty much already did it. So you can
Yeah.
enjoy your gifts and have your cupcake. And then Harmony, maybe you'll try making another heart or something. That'll be fun. So enjoy your day. And happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.